No, I'm not on your side.
Number of us Nnamdi has decided to conduct his defense by himself.
Thank you very much, and good day to all lovers of freedom. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I'm one of the lawyers to Nnamdi Kanu. Today being the 23rd of October 2025, Nnamdi Kanu opted to defend himself in open court. Processes had been filed and motions had been moved. So he filed a motion challenging the jurisdiction of the court. And after the motion was moved by himself, according to what we heard, because when he asked that he would defend himself, the judge directed or ordered that all his lawyers who had appeared with him or for him before now should leave the courtroom. So we all left, except the senior advocates of Nigeria, who my lord ordered to sit back, and they sat back. So, but we left as directed by court, and Nnamdi Kanu, as we later heard, moved the motion, which he filed by himself, challenging the jurisdiction of the court. I understand that the court insisted that he has jurisdiction and continue to hear the matter. We also were informed that he raised the issue of his medical certificate of fitness issued by the Nigerian Medical Association. He drew the attention of the court to the fact that the Nigerian Medical Association issued a certificate of fitness on the 23rd of September 2025, whereas the court made an order for the Nigerian Medical Association to do that report on the 26th. So we noticed that the medical report came long before the order of court was made. And Nnamdi Kanu's position is that that medical report is not the one ordered by the court, and that the medical report is corrupted. But because on the last date before today, when we appeared in court and that medical report was tendered, the lawyers, we didn't object to that medical report. Possibly it's an oversight, I think. And so my lord said that since he had ruled on that medical report, he is found official, he can no longer go back to that medical report, and ordered him to go ahead to present his defense. We understand also that Dr. Nnamdi Kanu stood up and intervened as a friend of court and requested my lord to grant Mazi some time to reflect and maybe constitute another team of lawyers that will lead his defense team. So be that as it may, the case is still on. It's adjourned to tomorrow, 24th October 2025. Hopefully we'll be around. If the court permits us to come inside, we'll come inside, but if not, then we'll just hang around and try to get information as to what transpired. So as of today, Nnamdi Kanu has briefed us as his lawyers for this particular case, not for all cases, but for this particular case. So hopefully by tomorrow, he might have to reconstitute another team. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, yeah. My name is Prince Elias Odemena. I am the convener of the Igbo Union in the country Igbo. Please, I want to debunk the stories going around the town because of the protest show a Yoruba man called. They say that the Igbos abandoned Nnamdi Kanu. That is a false statement. We, the Igbos, we are 100% behind our brother, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, and good day to all lovers of freedom. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am one of the lawyers to Nnamdi Kanu. Today being the 23rd of October 2025, Nnamdi Kanu opted to defend himself in open court. Processes had been filed and motions had been moved. So he filed a motion challenging the jurisdiction of the court. And after the motion...
My law, that the defendant has now applied for bail. Now, as I've said earlier, bail is a decision of the court, taking into consideration all the conditions laid down in Muhammad Abacha v. State. At this stage, I am of the opinion that to make or take a stand on the bail application without first hearing and determine the issue that is glaring in the face, which is the absence of the defendant from the court since 25th of April 2017 until he was produced on the 29th of June. My lord, which was exactly what the Supreme Court did. They said that he did not jump bail. These criminals came to my house to kill me. That's what the Supreme Court said. This is in your own ruling, in your own court, my lord. So I cannot understand, my lord, why my trial will be conducted contrary to the Constitution of Nigeria. That said,
to make a quick one, let me have your reaction concerning the release of Nnamdi Kanu from the DSS custody. Now they are at the stage whereby they would transfer this very Nnamdi Kanu to another detention facilities, not under the control of DSS again. Let me have your reaction. What would you say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing this for the love of the people of the Southeast?
Thank you so much for having me. Nnamdi Kanu, as all of us have been saying it, that he don't deserve to be under the custody of DSS for so long. Don't forget that Nigeria government, the judiciary, they have apologized to Nnamdi Kanu for delaying him over 10 years in this course of this thing. Nigeria, as I speak to you, the judiciary Nigeria government does not have the concrete evidence to nail him. If not, over 10 years, they will have nailed Nnamdi Kanu that he commit treason. But because there was no evidence, there was no fact, I testified to it. That's why Buhari government could not who went to Kenya and kidnapped this young man. He could not nail him. Bola Ahmed Tinubu come now. He have seen that, oh, of course, this man is fighting for his legitimate right. Don't forget that every video Nnamdi Kanu have done so far concerning this Fulani man, the main reason why he stand this campaign of letting his people go, because Fulani man has claimed that they own the land. They own the land, and originally Fulani are stranger in Nigeria, but they came, they said they own the land, and that's why Nnamdi Kanu stood and said, you must let my people go. I must go with my people. Of course, right now, Nnamdi Kanu is out of DSS. He's in Abuja. He has not been free, but as I speak to you, he's no longer in DSS, because you can see the last court, Nnamdi Kanu sued federal government 50 billion. And you can see day before yesterday, Nnamdi Kanu council were nowhere to be found. Federal government council were nowhere to be found. And the case was scratched out. That is to tell you that Nnamdi Kanu and federal government, they have gone into agreement to settle out of court. And that's why I'm giving you a point for those that will not believe that Nnamdi Kanu is no longer with DSS. You don't wait for Nigeria media to come and tell you that. They won't tell you that. But as I tell to you now, there is agreement between Nnamdi Kanu and the DSS and the Nigeria government to settle out of court. And that's why you can see right now, Nnamdi Kanu have to come and tell us that he's going home, make that kind of statement before. He has never. Is to tell you that there is an agreement between Nnamdi Kanu and federal government. And we are giving kudos to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because, of course, he is not even the one that kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu. Buhari kidnapped him unlawfully from Kenya and bring him to Nigeria, which we are saying that they should pay damage for him for kidnapping him. And right now, we see that the way the case is going now, Nnamdi Kanu will be joined the Southeast. He's going home, and there is rejoicing in Biafra land as I speak to you. Don't forget that Justice Omotosho also did the need for apologizing to Nnamdi Kanu for detaining him, for Nigeria government to detain that young man for over 10 years. So as I speak to you, there is joy in Biafra land. There is joy in Igbo land that Nnamdi Kanu, the masquerade of himself, the Odogu himself, is finally going home. And the world is waiting for. Don't forget that Nnamdi Kanu is not agitating for Igbo. Nnamdi Kanu is agitating for Yoruba, is agitating for Middle Belt, is agitating for all Nigerians. Everything he has said concerning the Fulani headmen has come to pass. Look at Arewas now. They are agitating for Nnamdi Kanu, for Nnamdi Kanu to be released. Why? Because it was Nnamdi Kanu that told the Hausas that the only thing that is remaining for Hausa race is just their language. Every other thing they have sold it to Fulani. When you go to Hausa land now, Fulani are now the governor of Hausa. Fulani are now the emirs of Hausa. As I speak to you, these are the revelations from Nnamdi Kanu himself. And that's why
wait, MC Omeka, wait. Are you saying the Hausas that are in love with Nnamdi Kanu?
And you don't need to ask me that question. The video is going viral. Where they pick this Nnamdi Kanu video, where he lectured the Hausas, that the Hausas should wake up, that they have sold their birthright to the Fulani in the case of Esau and Jacob. That is the issue. It's going on. So the Arawas now, they are rejoicing. They are saying Nnamdi Kanu be free. They are thanking Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you for opening our eye. Now, Taraba chief now have given 30 days ultimatum to Fulani headmen to leave their land. It's an answer. They said they cannot condone this nonsense for Fulani headmen, whereby you come to our community, we allow you to stay, you kill us, you rape our children, you do so everything. That's to tell you now that the Hausas now, they are not waking up from their slumber. Who opened the Hausa eye? It's Nnamdi Kanu. So that's why Nnamdi Kanu is not only agitating for Igbo. Nnamdi Kanu is agitating for everywhere. Look, I'm not an Igbo man. I am from the Middle Belt, and I am proud where I'm from. I am from Kogi. We don't fear anybody. The only person we fear God. And that's why when we stand on our stand, we support Nnamdi Kanu. What he's doing is right. Nigeria is overdue. Nigeria needs to be restructured. Nigeria needs to be divided. Let everybody go their own, because Hausa cannot just come from Sahel, from Burkina Faso, and tell us they are the original of this country. Do you know how many people Fulani men has killed in Benue? Why will I not be angry this morning? What has Tinubu government have done? Tinubu government did not do anything, but in the case of River State, when no single person died, Tinubu run to River State and declare state of emergency. As I speak to you, no single soul died in River State. Just because of where he's getting resources, he went there and declared state of emergency. As I speak to you on an everyday basis, Fulani people are killing my people in the Benue State. They are killing my people in the Plateau State. And you say I should be happy. And you say I should be happy, I should not talk. So for this, we are saying that Nnamdi is on a just cause. And that's why we are happy that Nnamdi Kanu will regain his freedom. If these terrorist people in the north can be regaining their freedom, what stop Nnamdi Kanu not to regain freedom?
If you say Nnamdi Kanu is free from DSS custody, so where is Nnamdi Kanu now? Is he still in Abuja, or is in another detention facility, not in control of the DSS?
Yes, Nnamdi Kanu is in another detention right now, where they are taking care of him. Don't forget, in the case of this thing, the Southeast leaders also have a problem in this. They don't want Nnamdi Kanu to come out. So there is negotiation now. The Southeast leaders are saying, oh, if Nnamdi Kanu come out today, our people will no longer listen to us. They will not do this. Those are the things they are trying to put in order. When Nnamdi Kanu will be going back to Southeast at the end of this month. And you can see the joy in Southeast. You can hear the jubilation everywhere in Southeast. That's why I keep saying that Nnamdi Kanu and Samuel Ekpa, they are not the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria are the Fulani bandits who are moving from one region to another to kill innocent people. Where have you ever seen Biafran people, IPOP, ESM come to Lagos to come and kill or to come and destroy business? The answer is no. Have you seen them in Kwara State? Have you seen them in Yoruba land? The answer is no. The people who are moving from one place to another to buy people, to kill people, to rape people, to kidnap people are these Fulani men. They are the major problem Nigeria is having. Nnamdi Kanu and Samuel Ekpa, they are never the problem of Nigeria.
MC Omeka, over the week, Governor Otom also came out and said that the federal government should release Nnamdi Kanu. That Nnamdi Kanu did nothing wrong by agitating for the freedom of his own people. That the Fulani S-men have done worse thing more than what Nnamdi Kanu is doing. That immediately the federal government arrested them, they will release them. So they should release Nnamdi Kanu. Are you in support with what the former governor of Benue State, Otom, said?
No, of course, everybody knows that Nnamdi Kanu release is the best answer so far. So, where do you hold him on lock?
Is it as a result of what Otom said that make the DSS to free Nnamdi Kanu?
No, it's not because of that. I think the Nigerians now have now seen the reality that what Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for just cause. Because don't forget that Sunday Igboho also stood and fight for the same purpose, whereby the Fulani believe that this country is made for them. When we are saying this country is not made for Fulanis. You have equal right as a Nigeria, I have equal right of Nigeria. Look at the case that is happening in Edo State, where 16 hunters were killed in Edo State. As I speak to you now, Kanu State now, Kanu governor now, have raised a panel to go and prove the death of these 16 people. How many people, Fulani people have killed? Which of the southern governors have raised people to go and probe how many people they killed? As I speak to you in Edo State now, people from Kano, they are in Edo State now. They want to probe how come, who killed these people? Are we in one Nigeria? As I speak to you in Benue now, do you know how many people that have been killed yesterday in Benue, in Plateau? Even President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have not come out and say something about that. And yes, what is happening in Nigeria? And you are telling me that Nnamdi Kanu does not have right to agitate for his people to go. Agitating for people to go is never a sin to Nigeria constitution.
All right, MC Domeka, I think it's a very wonderful place to live in. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.